Hello, I'm Kevin, and in this video, I'll just be going through how I set up the service on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure for Assignment 1. We'll begin by looking at the web service. So this is written in Python using Flask, and the most important bit of it would be this post handler for this API endpoint, where it takes in the request image and process it and return output JSON. So this is an async handler, so it is IO optimized, and the image processing is done through additional threads via this executor. So hopefully both IO and CPU are fully utilized, and it uses up to 3 threads, which is the one Flask thread and 2 worker threads. The object detection uses CV2. I tried to make use of as much of the example code as possible, but essentially we just base64 decode the image, convert it to a NumPy array, and we process that. And it's converted to JSON implicitly via this Flask handler. Moving on to the Docker file, and it uses the base image, which is Python 3.10. Slim meaning that it's using minimal dependencies. The base image is as simple as possible. And Button, that's just the version of Debian that this image was using. So it copies all the files from the source file system into a container file system folder called app. We moved to that folder and we've run pip install on all the requirements, which are quite dependencies which are quite minimal, and then we declare the start command, and which is Gunicon, and the container port to expose. Okay, so moving on to the Kubernetes cluster. So the version of Kubernetes and Docker we're using is 1.27 and 20.10 respectively, which are, this Docker is not the most recent, but it works fine. And the entire service is written in Terraform, which is infrastructure as code, and that is applied onto OCI. So this is what the main Terraform file looks like. And then when the instances initialize, it runs a cloud in the initialization file. And for the master, so the control plane, it runs this file. And we are using Weave as the CNI. While it is not the most feature complete, it is simple to set up, and it contains a built-in Docker driver, which is exactly what we need. So here we apply Weave.net first. After this file is run, it sends the join command to the worker nodes, and then the worker nodes will receive that and join the master. And so here are the nodes. So you can see that we have the control plane, which is the master node and 2 worker nodes. And here's the cluster info, which just tells us about the cluster and its services. So the most important one is this one, which is the cluster control plane API. Here's the deployment file. It spins up 2 of this container, which is built from this Docker file here, and it's pushed to this container registry on Oracle. And the deployment just fetches this, pulls this image and spins up 2 containers with this memory limit, CPU limit, and exposes 80 on the container. Here's the service file, which makes use of this particular app, this tag, which is specified here. It specifies that we're going to use a node port, and it's going to forward port 80 on the service to port 30,000 on the host machine, which is why we're able to access this service. So here are the VMs in OCI. So here are the VMs in OCI, and we'll just take a look at the master node quickly. So this is the master node, and this is the IP address, public IP address of the master node. It is assigned this particular security group. it is assigned this particular group, which is for the master, and most importantly, it opens ports for the Kubernetes service and also WeaveNet, so these ones. So this is the security group for the worker, and it allows the WeaveNet, essentially. There's also the security list for this VCN, and it just this applies to everything in this VCN and allows the SSH port and the node port ports to be accessed by anyone. Do note that I have provided you with the IP address of a load balancer as well as a domain name, which I'll quickly show you. So I recommend that you use either this one or this one, since this IP address may change. Okay, so here's the configuration of the 4 pods, which 2 of them are running in the first worker and 2 of them are running in the second worker. I'll demo that the service is working by sending a post request. So this is a post request of this image, and the image is in base64. And we'll run it. And there we go. That's the output, which is indeed a train and a person. Train and a person. And finally, here are the logs from all of the pods. So that is all. I hope you've enjoyed and that I've covered everything. And thank you for your time.